Chilton and Stacy Spivey.
Yeah, welcome to everyone watching the 4 to 5 right here on News 2. Of course, you can also watch on Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app for your TV, phone, or tablet.
Well, there's lots to talk about today, but the big question people want to know, Eric, is are we in for another round of snow?
Yeah, here we go again. Social media lighting up with comments about this, and we do have our opinions. I was just talking with Tim Buckley just a moment ago, and we were chatting about this. This could be a little bit of a repeat of what we had this last time. Now, not so much the time before where that was more ice. This is thankfully more along the lines of snow. However, I will say the type of snow is probably a little bit different in this one, meaning that I think we'll see maybe some big fat wet snowflakes, right, instead of that dry, dusty snow that we had last time. And it's going to be interesting. So let's start with the short term. Partly cloudy, 27 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, clouds build in, 47 for the high. Now, a warmer high, right? So when you think about frozen precipitation, but temperatures will drop quickly. I think by evening time, we see that change over from a rain-snow mix to all snow, and definitely into the overnight period for tomorrow. Two different systems that we're watching: a developing low off the coast, which really isn't even there yet, and then this trough, this kind of upper level trough, a short wave that's moving across the region. It basically adds some instability. Now, when you look at this on Friday night, the timing 6 to 8 it starts, rain, then snow, should end Saturday morning around say 6 a.m. if not a little earlier. Roads are going to become slick, of course, and snow covered by 8 to 10 o'clock, and that's tomorrow evening, and then slowly improve on Saturday. We think at this point most parts of the Triad will be 1 to 2 inches, maybe some isolated pockets of heavier amounts, maybe even up to 3 inches. But again, a 1 to 2 inch situation is probably what we're dealing with. And the high on Saturday is only a little bit at the freezing mark. So most of this will stick around.
All right, thank you, Eric. The past few months have been huge for the city of Greensboro, between yesterday's announcement of Boom Supersonic coming to PTI Airport and Toyota claiming the Greensboro Randolph megasite. We know these companies are coming here, but what comes next?
Community leaders met today discussing how to prepare Greensboro for those new companies. The Greensboro Chamber of Commerce says they're in the middle of getting the sites permitted to be cleared for construction. Recent winter weather has put teams behind, but state permitting agencies are expected to grant clearance soon. Leaders speculate our transit system may need some updates to help workers who can't afford a car to get to and from these work sites. And both the city of Greensboro and High Point are looking at housing projects.
We're going to need more industrial property so that we can take advantage of the interest that these two announcements are going to have, and others in Guilford County.
Greensboro Mayor Nancy Vaughn says the city is also going to look at its water and sewer policy.
A Guilford County commissioner known for her leadership and advocacy has died. County leaders confirmed long-term District 7 Commissioner CAROLYN Coleman died last night, surrounded by her family and friends. She was 79 years old. Coleman served on the Guilford County Board of Commissioners, representing the Pleasant Garden community in eastern Greensboro for almost 20 years. The county noted her active role in the NAACP for nearly 3 decades. She was known for her civil rights activism and among the first students arrested in sit-in demonstrations in her home state of Georgia. Congresswoman Kathy Manning commented on Coleman's passing, saying, quote, "Our community lost a giant last night. From the first time I met CAROLYN, she was so kind and thoughtful. As a civil rights leader, she paved the way for change. As a community leader in Guilford County, she was a dedicated public servant who always stood up for what is right." Soon, Guilford County commissioners will have to fill her seat. They have 60 days to do so, or the clerk of Superior Court will choose the successor. Since Coleman's term is up in December, the replacement will serve only a few months. In the meantime, voters will have a chance to elect a candidate from the ballot in November.
Results from a new CDC study shows that kids who contract COVID-19 are 31 to 166% more likely to develop type 1 diabetes. Dr. Mark Guido, an endocrinologist with Novant Health, says it's still not known why this is happening, but there are a couple of theories. He says one is the virus can directly destroy a part of the pancreas that makes insulin. And 2, because type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease, experts believe when kids get the virus, their immune system overreacts and starts attacking the pancreas.
The best thing to do is to not get COVID. And so prevention is always the best medicine. And so that means, following guidelines as far as, masking, distancing, and if your kids have not gotten the vaccine, you're considering getting them the vaccine.
Dr. Guido says the study looked at kids more than 30 days past diagnosis of COVID-19. So here's what you need to look out for your kids that may have had COVID: excessive thirst, frequent urination, and unintentional weight loss.
Type 1 diabetes is unfortunately a lifelong disease. There is no cure, but there are good treatment options.
Dr. Guido says in his practice, adults that have diabetes and get COVID are also having more severe complications from the virus.
Our COVID metrics continue increasing despite leaders' efforts to push masks and vaccines. Today, our state confirmed more than 28,000 cases, up from yesterday's 20,000. The percentage of tests returning positive is 6 times the state's target goal of 5%. The good news here, though, is that percentage is lower than yesterday's data.
With new CDC guidelines and a high number of people testing positive for COVID, it can get confusing knowing when you're supposed to quarantine or when you can get back to life. WFMY News 2's Megan Malaris verifies your questions about when to quarantine after a COVID exposure.
Well, that sound means it is time to verify direct exposure, quarantine, isolation, fully vaccinated, boosted. All of these terms factor into what to do after coming in close contact with someone with COVID-19. Viewer Brenda reached out asking to verify, does vaccination status dictate whether you quarantine? Does that mean fully vaccinated and boosted before symptoms develop? No quarantine if you've been exposed? And what if you live with someone who likely has Omicron but hasn't received test results back? Should you quarantine even if you are vaccinated and boosted with no symptoms? Well, to verify, I looked at the CDC's isolation and quarantine guidelines updated December 27th, and I talked to Dr. Cynthia Snyder, infectious diseases physician with Cone Health. The answer to both questions is yes. The CDC's new guidance says if you were exposed to someone with COVID and you are not vaccinated, or your last vaccine was 6 months ago or longer, you should stay home for 5 days, then continue wearing a mask around others for 5 days. But if you've completed your vaccine series or taken a booster in the last 6 months, you don't have to quarantine. Instead, wear a mask around others for 10 days and test on day 5. The CDC's rules, however, make no mention about what to do if your exposure is within your household. So here's Dr. Snyder's recommendation.
Yes, somebody who has somebody who's positive in the household has the greatest risk of converting over and getting the infection, even if you're fully vaccinated. So the guidance I give for folks is to stay home. If you have the capacity to quarantine and stay home, you should.
She also said to test as soon as you find out your partner or child is positive. And if you're negative, retest in 3 to 5 days just to make sure. In conclusion, it's true, you don't have to quarantine after direct exposure as long as you are recently fully vaccinated or boosted and have no symptoms. But you should quarantine even if vaccinated and boosted if someone in your house is positive or symptomatic. All that said, if at any point you develop symptoms, you need to test right away and isolate for 5 days if positive. The CDC says if you have little to no symptoms after those 5 days, you can leave your house but continue masking for 5 additional days. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
If you see or hear a claim on social media and you're not sure if it's true, just send it to the Verify team. Submit a screenshot and selfie, video, or short paragraph of your question to verify@wfmy.com.
The CDC updated its mask guidance earlier this month, suggesting the public wear N95 or KN95 masks for the best protection. The Guilford County Health Department had scheduled handouts this Saturday, but they're now adding a second handout date and location. So here's that information. The first event is tomorrow at the Roy B. Cullors Senior Center on East Chester Drive in High Point. You can pick up your mask from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Families are allowed 1 box per household, which contains 20 N95 masks. Another handout is scheduled for Saturday at the Greensboro Coliseum. This one runs from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Guilford County is under a mask mandate currently. County commissioners will review the mandate next Thursday. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Facebook. How's it going on this Friday Eve?
Hey, everyone.
What's cracking?
Let's see. Everybody's saying happy Friday Eve. Thank goodness, right?
They know our terminology.
Yeah. Oh, Chilton, the snow.
I know.
It's
it's
snow
almost,
good.
we're used to it, right? I think everybody's starting to, DEFCON level is dropping because I think they're kind of like, we know what this is like. 1 inch, 2 inches, not that big a deal. The only thing that I would watch for is there could be those pockets of 3 inches or more. When you get up to that, we have troubles around here. But I think we're good. I think 1 to 2 is manageable.
I said, describe how you feel about the snow in emojis. So I put mine. The eye roll and the crying face.
I'll do the crying face with you.
What are we talking about?
I said,
Snow.
describe how you feel about the snow in emojis.
Yeah, I'll put how I feel. I have, what's the one that's like the whining face one?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's mine.
Erica put the wide eye face. Oh, I need to go back to. Nancy just said, no, no, no.
No, never. Stop.
Remember a while ago when people were asking, wait, where am I?
I'm going to stand in the Chad one.
Yes, that they won't.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. A Texas man has been charged with federal firearm crimes after allegedly selling a pistol to the man accused of kidnapping hostages in a Texas synagogue earlier this month. Henry Williams has been charged with violating laws, making it illegal for convicted felons to possess firearms. Prosecutors say Williams was previously convicted of crimes such as aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and was not allowed to own the gun he is accused of selling to Malik Akram. Akram took 4 members of a synagogue hostage for hours before he killed himself. All 4 hostages made it out safely. The father of a journalist killed during a live report in 2015 is now running for Congress in Virginia. Andy Parker is running for the Virginia's 5th District against Republican Congressman Bob Good. Andy's daughter, Allison Parker, was reporting for WDBJ in Roanoke when she was shot and killed along with her photographer, Adam Ward, by an ex-coworker. Andy Parker has been an advocate for gun rights reform since his daughter's killing. He's also been an advocate for reforming a law that protects social media companies from lawsuits over content on their platforms after failing to get Facebook and other sites to remove the video of the shooting. North Carolina healthcare workers have until today to get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine under President Biden's mandate, along with a number of other states in the U.S. The order is taking effect in states that didn't challenge the requirement in court. The mandate will be rolled out nationwide by February 14th in 24 other states where injunctions were lifted when the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the mandate weeks ago. Keep in mind, this is the federal mandate for facilities who get Medicare and Medicaid money from the government. This is not the same as the mandates invoked by Cone Health, Avant, or even the state last year. What's the correct answer? Jeopardy champion Amy winning streak is over after 40 consecutive wins. Her success came to an end last night after this question: the only nation whose name in English ends in an H and which is also one of the most populous. New champ Roan Talsma had the correct response, which was Bangladesh, winning a total of $29,600. Her reign put her in the ranks with Ken Jennings. She walked away with nearly $1.4 million in prize money. Well, to me, she's still a winner.
I was going to say, don't cry for Amy too much.
$1.4 million, I mean, that's a lot of money right there.
Take it.
She did amazing too. And one thing I was reading about, do you feel like lately so many people have had these winning streaks
On
Jeopardy?
Jeopardy,
yes, on Jeopardy.
Yes, that's
so
true.
actually, they do actually repeat questions.
Okay.
But there become databases out there where people are studying
Oh my gosh.
all the questions that have been asked on there.
I will
So
say
there's like a study guide out there.
I was surprised that she missed that one because some of the questions she got were insanely hard. And not that that wasn't difficult, but it didn't sound to me as difficult as I
Maybe
thought.
she was just like, you know what, it's time for me to get back to
Tired.
work. I gotta live my life, so
Well, you
who
think
knows?
about that. How long do they have? I mean, I don't know how you keep playing the game if you have a job. You
I don't know.
That long. I mean,
Yeah, well, with $1.4 million,
Yeah,
you probably don't need that
Yeah.
daytime job anymore.
Yeah, the guy that won though, he's a librarian, and it was really interesting. They said that he, I guess, kind of felt bad a little bit about beating her, but was still obviously excited, but did a really good job of hitting the button before anybody
might
else.
be that, yeah.
And you know, sometimes that's probably
well,
what it is.
she's an instant celebrity, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So
Well, congrats to her.
Yeah,
We've all
absolutely.
been cheering for you back
Yeah.
here.
she'll make the talk show circuit, I feel, pretty soon. All right, let's take a break. Studio I go. Heading to Studio 2. Fine friends.
No, you did really well.
Okay.
Wait, what camera needs to be turned again? I'm sorry. Okay, so I might as well turn it for you.
Sorry, Stacy. I usually
Oh,
do
no,
that.
you're fine.
I forgot. Hello, Melita on Facebook.
I saw some pretty funny emojis on there. Somebody put the big red X.
Where's my boy Greg Brown? Is he on there? That's what I need to know.
Look who it is.
That's Tasha, our producer. The
Yeah.
brains behind the outfit. Now pan right and show the other one. Yeah, show that one.
Who tried to
Dun, dun, dun,
trick
dun,
Chilton
dun, dun,
today.
dun, dun. Always. Keep going. Get on in there. That's Brad, the dreaded Brad director.
The Wolfpack's #1 fan.
Yeah, that's for sure. Wait till you see my 2 cents tomorrow, Brad. I'm doing one on my college t-shirts, and I found one that's a state Carolina thingy.
Actually, we are talking about snow in this next block.
I'd be sad. I need to check the Facebook feed, see if Greg's saying anything. Tosh, I head back in the Studio 1 when I finish weather, right? Yeah. You know, it's funny, when you look at our radar chart that you see here, doesn't look all that threatening, does it? You look at this, you say, what's going to happen? Oh, something's going to happen, all right. 24 hours from now, we'll start to see this thing change a good bit. This is kind of an upper level trough. A trough just means a trough of low pressure. It just means kind of think of it as an unsettled area of weather. And then we're watching a developing low off the coast. Always difficult to make these calls when a low is trying to develop and you're trying to figure out exactly where it's going to be, how much moisture will it throw back our way. But this front and this trough will dip down and bring us some snow showers as we head. You see some rain and then the snow's back to the mountains. That's at about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, but it overspreads the area very quickly. Add to that the low pressure wraparound moisture on the backside of that low, and we could get a decent amount of snow. Now, to be similar, we think, to what we've had over the last couple of days, where we get the maybe 1 to 2 inches is probably a good average across the triad. Clouds increase throughout the day. This is a look at your Friday. Here's 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Yeah, now we're going to see a 60% chance. That goes up to an 80 to 90% chance, and that will be more likely snow because those temperatures are dropping very quickly. The snow will also cool the atmosphere as it falls from top to bottom. So we'll see that change over to snow. Watch for slick roads. That'll be Friday night into early Saturday morning. We think most of this should end by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. However, the high Saturday only in the lower 30s, so whatever we get will stick around for the most part.
Oh, with all this talk about more snow for the 3rd weekend in a row, we wondered if you're looking forward to it or not. So we asked you, do you prefer several smaller snows or one big 10-inch snow? Let's see what you had to say. Mark Young says, a few smaller ones. And Kenny Davis says lots of snow and lots of big snows. Here's a comment from Shirley. She says, I would prefer a no inch snow. Willie Mae says, I would rather have one big snowstorm. Paul says, I would rather have none. Brenda Dillard says, bring on the one-time big snow and no sticking to the roads. Bring it. Another viewer, 10-inch snow. And someone else said, none. So it seems to be going back and forth. Someone joked, we love tracking in the salt and water. Oh, into their house, I'm guessing is what they're saying. Which I still have
Tracking
a
in the
lot
house.
of salt that has been brought into my house by dog paws. Yeah, so.
Even our studio floor, we still have marks.
Yeah.
where people
Yeah, I'm
were
looking
bringing
at
that
it.
in from the weather garden. Yeah, that's the part I hate is, you know, some houses we're lucky we have what they call a mud room. So this is basically just where you come in from and all the kids take the boots off and all that. That is a mess when we get snow or slush or even rain for that matter.
And even our cars. That's
Oh, yeah.
really frustrating too. I still need to take mine through the wash, and I have a white car. It's like pearly white.
We
so you
all
can
have
really,
white cars.
Yes, we
Yes, we do, all
do.
three
So
of
you can
us.
really see it. My sister came to my house to pick up something on her way to Charlotte, and she was coming from Northern Virginia, and she has a white truck as well, and it was gross. I was like, you need to take that through the car wash immediately.
But it's like every time we've had like what, you know, once a week or every week and a half. It's like every time you want to take it, then there's another storm in the forecast. So
Absolutely.
hopefully after this one we'll get a break.
Fingers crossed. You got some good news for us, I hope, right? Like, are you calling the weather gods to like not make this
to
a
Say
stop
no
this.
more.
Well, people that have lived here for decades, and we talked about this in our meeting the other day, but I remember my dad used to say, we go through cycles where about every 4 or 5 winters we'll have a storm a week, almost on the same day for about 3 times in a row. So hopefully this would be, by stats or at least folklore, this would be it.
Third time's a charm.
We'll
Let's
see.
hope so.
Just
right?
drive safely if you have to be out there. Drive
Yeah.
safely.
And I guess for the kids, they can enjoy it.
That's right.
We'll be right back. Oh, goodness. Erica said she washed her car yesterday. Jamel, I hope I'm saying your name right. She rinsed her car off. No.
That's always a sign that it will snow or rain.
Right?
as soon as you do it.
I've just been avoiding it.
Sometimes you just have to take it through.
That's
because
true.
It looks really bad.
Yeah, I mean,
sister always keeps hers up in college. Really rough.
okay, so have y'all ever heard this? Like, you can kind of see a person's personality through what color car they want or they drive. Have you all heard that?
What does pearl mean, or white?
I was told it means you're a good person.
Oh, thank you.
So clearly we're all
all
three
good people. I
I
just love a nice pearly white car. It's just
I
so
do
like
too.
crisp and clean.
Unfortunately, my wife chose the color for my car. It wasn't my choice.
Oh,
Really, my
no.
mom has a white car
So she's
too.
very good.
My mom has a red car, but that's her favorite color.
I had a blue
red.
car before this one. I had that car since high school.
Me too.
I rode that till the wheels fell off.
My first car was blue.
My favorite is black with tan leather interior. That's my favorite.
Black
part.
with tan leather.
anything on the inside. I love that.
I think I want my next car to be black.
My dad has a black car. He's had a couple black cars.
Have you seen the cars with like it's like black on black? They have black interior, exterior, and then even the rims. are
Oh,
black.
wow.
Jeep, a lot of Jeeps have that. I think it looks really good.
That's
Looks
cool.
like your Secret Service.
My dad used to have an apple red Jeep when I was a kid that I'll like never forget, which is very.
We had one too, and my dad would take the doors off and the top off, and we'd like go riding in
fun.
it. That was before like there were a lot of laws, and I would sit in the front seat as a kid,
Oh,
which
yeah.
now you think about like you can't
Can't
do that.
Y'all remember the rolling up the windows by churning that?
Absolutely.
Today on YOUDAY, if you struggle with seeing your flaws instead of your value, Coach Lamont explains how that can lead to emotional damage and prevent you from living your best life.
We look in the mirror often and have mastered picking ourselves apart. I know this firsthand, looking in the mirror, focusing on everything wrong with me because my mind convinced me that my flaws were simply who I was. We have made things we dislike about ourselves the center point of how we treat ourselves. As long as you see your flaws more than your beauty, that will prevent you from being your best. It is time for you to look deeper into the internal beauty that lives within you. You are not your flaws. Your flaws are intended to keep you grounded and to remind you of your humanity. Never allow your flaws to dominate and control you. You deserve to be free from you. So get free from you. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best YOUDAY. I'll see you tomorrow.
Get free from you. I like that.
I like that too.
This kind of reminds me of the story I did on Tuesday about the psychology behind failed resolutions, because that therapist was saying when you want to set out to do something, it shouldn't be coming from a negative space. It shouldn't be, I don't like how I look, so this is why I'm going to go and try to lose a bunch of weight. It should be, I want to feel healthier, I want to feel stronger, I want to be more clear.
I'm ready to look better,
Yeah.
I'm ready to feel better. Okay, that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's the glass half full.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Lauren, you and I talk about all the time, like we pick and pry at our different flaws, what we don't like about ourselves, and we have to make ourselves stop doing that. And, I think, God made you the way that you are, and you need to love yourself. Obviously, we're all gonna have these flaws that we find about ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, normal. And if you think you don't have them, that's your first flaw.
Yeah,
Thinking that you
that's
don't
also
have
a
any.
flaw.
Right.
And our flaws are what make us who we are.
I love
Especially
that,
like
yes.
even personality, like little quirks that people have. Like we know things about ourselves that we do that, people don't necessarily like, but everybody has that about themselves, or even physical features that we might have got picked on when we were younger. Now as an adult, some people think these things are beautiful.
You should just laugh it off and move on. I always say making fun of yourself is such a good thing to do. Self-deprecation, if you do that, and then that means you're confident,
Yeah.
right? So do that. I'm gonna
Love
do it.
your
I'm gonna do it right now.
uniqueness.
Yeah, we'll be back.
You.
Lauren's over here dancing because it's Friday Eve, y'all. We've almost made it to the weekend. I'm Stacey Spivey with Lauren Coleman and Eric Chilton.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the 4 to 5 here on WFNY News 2, Fire Stick Roku, and the WFNY News 2 app.
And the weekend weather may have you dancing or crying, either way. Chilton, what are we expecting?
Yeah, choose your emoji. Here's what we're looking at, and we'll talk about the chance of snow. It's similar to the last time. I think maybe a smidge more than what we had last time, and the layout too of who gets what is a little bit different. But as far as snow totals, if you were to talk about just an average across the region, 1 to 2. There could be pockets of more, but I think if you were to average it out, that's a good estimate of what we would see. And let's go out to a wider shot. You see this trough, kind of an area of disturbed weather to the northwest. Then there's a developing low pressure off the coast. They merge together. So this front moves over us. This is Friday, and as we head into Friday, that's Friday midday, not bad, but then the rain starts, in the early evening hours, switch over to snow. You see the snow hanging around for a while. That's because this low throwing back some moisture around the wraparound, we call that on the backside of the low pressure. It meets with this trough, and that could spell some snow showers for us. Gets a little windy as we move into Saturday, but you can see things will start to clear out. Let's look at this from our forecast planner. If you're looking at Friday during the day, clouds increase. By 5 p.m. we see it start. 7 to 11, that's when we could see snow showers heavy at times. We think this will continue as we go ahead. Let's look at Friday night into Saturday morning. We think this will continue into Saturday, but once we get this out of here, heading into Friday afternoon and early evening, you see that 6 a.m., early morning rather, we'll see the snow showers start to taper off, but those roads are going to be slick, and with overnight lows in the 20s, highs only in the 30s for Saturday, whatever we get might stick around a little bit. So I would think about this, making plans. Friday night is probably out of the question. That's when roads get really bad. We'll have to wait until Saturday, probably midday and into the afternoon to see some clearing, but the snow will probably end early Saturday morning before a lot of people are even awake, but we will see that 1 to 2 inches. We'll look at our snow totals across the Triad coming up in just a bit.
Eric, thank you. And even without the snow, it's just downright cold outside. The kind of cold where you can't walk inside or where you walk inside and you just can't get warm no matter what. And when you try to keep your home warm, make sure you do so safely. If you have a heater, make sure it's on a flat surface that is not flammable. Keep the heater 3 feet away from children and pets and anything flammable. Don't use your heater near paint, gas cans, or matches. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Plug them directly into the wall, not an extension cord, and unplug it when it's not in use. We'll, of course, let you know what to expect with this forecast. All you have to do is just download our free WFNY News 2 app to get push alerts sent straight to your phone.
President Biden welcomed Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer to the White House to officially announce his retirement. Breyer has served on the bench for nearly 28 years. His retirement opens a seat for President Biden's first appointment. CBS News' Natalie Brandt reports on the timeline for Breyer's replacement.
Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer joined President Biden at the White House to announce his plans to step down nearly 30 years after then Senator Biden presided over his confirmation hearings.
I was proud and grateful to be there at the start of this distinguished career in the Supreme Court, and I'm very proud to be here today on his announcement of his retirement.
President Clinton nominated the longtime liberal justice back in 1994. His retirement will not change the ideological makeup of the court, now split with 6 Republican-appointed justices and 3 selected by Democratic presidents.
It's a kind of miracle when you sit there and see all those people in front of you, people that are so different in what they think, and yet they've decided to help solve their major differences under law.
The retirement comes just ahead of midterm elections that could change the balance in the Senate. And President Biden is expected to fulfill a campaign promise to make an historic choice.
That person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court.
The front runner on the list of potential candidates is 51-year-old federal appeals court judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who clerked for Justice Breyer.
Without a doubt, being a law clerk for Justice Breyer was one of the most rewarding professional experiences of my life.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he wants to move quickly on confirming a nominee. He's expected to follow a similar timeline that Republicans used to confirm Justice Amy Coney Barrett in just over a month.
It's the first week of tax season and early filers are getting their start now, but it may take longer for state taxes to return no matter when you file. Anthony Edwards, the Assistant Secretary for North Carolina's Department of Revenue, projects a month delay. The delay comes after lawmakers approved the state budget in late November. Edwards says that's about 3.5 months later than in previous years. Changes need to be made to forms and electronic systems, and that's a lengthy process, according to Edwards. The department expects the first state returns to show up starting in mid to late March.
So much needed relief on interest rates the past 2 years in the pandemic, but the Federal Reserve said that's changing soon. The Reserve plans to boost its short-term interest rate in March from its current level. A CBS News poll analyst explains what this means for your budget.
If you are a saver, you're totally psyched because you're saying, hey, I'm going to get paid more interest on my savings, my checking, my money market, my CDs. But if you are a borrower, things could start costing more. Not all borrowers, but if you've got a credit card balance, if you've got maybe a business loan or a variable home loan, those payments will start to increase as soon as March.
Money is on the list of things that people stress about the most. A new study shows 32% of adults are sometimes so stressed out by the pandemic that they struggle to make basic decisions like what to wear or even what to eat. Now, that's according to the American Psychological Association. A Charlotte therapist appeared on CBS Mornings earlier today to discuss healthy ways to cope with that kind of stress.
It's important to remember that we cannot be our old selves. So many of us are trying to operate in the way that we used to, and we just can't do that anymore. It's also important to get back to a lot of the things that we started doing in the beginning of the pandemic, like making time for ourselves, making ways to connect.
And she says this kind of stress isn't always feeling sad. It can come in the form of feeling a lack of desire to do the things that you enjoy. I think we all can say that we've experienced some kind of pandemic stress, maybe not to the magnitude that, she was talking about, but I know in my life it's changed a lot of things. It's put a lot of things into perspective, and it's been hard.
I think it makes people, I always use the term nest because I just think you kind of like gather things and stay in your house and do that, and that can be unhealthy if you let that. I think there's some healthy things with that. Like for me, it really, families reconnected, but then after a while you got to get back out there.
Absolutely.
Again.
I was going to say the same. I know I spent a lot of time by myself during this pandemic because I was living away from my family out in Memphis. In the beginning, I liked it. I was like, I'm finding myself. I'm learning this about myself. But eventually you get to a point where it's like, okay, I want to be around other people and connect with family and friends and just meet different people.
It's true, and I feel like it's, it's moderation, right? It all comes down to, we needed some alone time. Well, we got that. Now we need some time with family. Then it's like, okay, well, I got that. You got to get, it's just, I think you have to, in some ways, when I heard her talking about when people can't make decisions on what to eat or what to, we're getting soft, and I think we have to push ourselves to get out there and make, you got to make decisions in life.
I mean, but like I struggle with that every day.
With what to eat?
We struggle with, okay, what's for dinner tonight a lot of the time. And honestly, every day I wake up and I change into about 3 or 4 dresses deciding on what I want to wear. I can't make good decisions.
I'm not the only person that does that because I'm like throwing dresses on my bed and stuff, and I'm like, I don't have time to put them back.
I'm like, Jake, does this look good? Does this look good?
But
He's
that's
like, yes.
easy stress to me. Like that's just like normal day to day. That's not something that should make you get depressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I think at least.
Well, hopefully we can all do our part so we can move forward.
Chug on.
And get out of this pandemic. Let's go ahead and jump into your 4 to 5 roundup. The CDC is adding several popular vacation destinations to its travel advisory list. There are now 116 places the agency rates as being very high risk for COVID for travelers. New additions include Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, and St. Martin. The CDC warns even fully vaccinated travelers may be at risk for getting and spreading COVID variants, and travelers should still wear a mask and social distance. Check out this bronze statue commemorating NBA star Kobe Bryant, and his daughter Gianna was placed at the helicopter crash site near Los Angeles, where 9 people died 2 years ago. The statue shows the Bryants wearing basketball uniforms and Gianna holding Kobe's hand. The memorial was also engraved with the names of the other victims who died. The sculptor took the statue to the crash site yesterday from sunrise to sunset to commemorate the 2-year anniversary. 8 days until the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics begin, the preparations for the Games are underway as the Chinese capital gears up to be the first city to have hosted a Winter and Summer Olympics. The Beijing Olympics are scheduled to run from February 4th to the 20th. Ben Roethlisberger is retiring from the NFL after 18 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The QB officially announced his retirement this morning. The Steelers drafted Big Ben in the first round in 2004. He's been the starting quarterback ever since, leading them to the playoffs 12 times and helping them win 2 Super Bowls. That was in 2006 and 2010. The QB is a 6-time Pro Bowler and won Offensive Rookie of the Year honors in 2004. The Steelers never had a losing season under his reign.
Hey, I didn't know that.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so it's no secret that I am a fanatical UNC fan. There it is, right there. And so this is kind of a big moment for me, kind of a father-son moment. My youngest son, Tyler, had never been to see a game in Chapel Hill. So I got tickets for last night's game and took him. It was his first time, and he had a blast. So I just want to show you some images and some little videos that we took. We were right next to the student section, so he was thrilled. There he is with his little mask on, so excited. It was funny, as we were driving there, he goes, "How far away is this?" Because it took us about an hour and 15, hour and 20. And I said, "Well, we're going to see the Heels play." And he goes, wait, you mean the actual Carolina Tar Heels? I was like, yeah, do you think we were going to Chapel Hill to see a high school basketball game? And so we get in there, he was thrilled, was yelling at the players, and we had really good seats, courtesy of a good friend of mine. There he is trying to be cool, by the way. He's at the age now where he can't just take a picture, he's got to look cool. So anyway, it was wonderful for me as a father-son thing. I took the twins when they were like 7 years old. Tyler's almost 12, so this is great.
He is definitely your mini-me. He looks just like, I was like, that's like a little Chilton right there in that picture. Oh my gosh, the whole face.
I mean, he really, Leslie says that too. He also has a baby face, which when I was younger, I had too. And sometimes he'll put a hoodie on, and Leslie and I laugh that when he has the hoodie on and all you can see is just his little eyes, he looks like he's like 4 years old. He's just got such a baby face.
I love how you said that he came down the stairs in that outfit, like decked out in Carolina blue,
morning,
ready to go to school.
He wore it to school. He wore his light blue, like kind of like a warm-up suit that he had, and he was so excited. He said, "Look, Dad, I'm all Carolina-ed up." That's how he said it, and wore it to school. Was super excited about it, and it was great. It's a great kind of father-son
great bonding time. Is he interested in going to school there?
Yes, he says he is. I mean, it's funny. I said I was going to go when I was 6 years old, and I went. So maybe he'll do the same thing. He's the twins went to other schools, so I only have 2 more chances for one of mine to go.
What if he
Carolina.
goes to the other blue school?
Well, you know.
Or what about
there
the
are
red
scholarships.
school?
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, I'm kidding.
When I was, I'm in a sorority. If I did the other one, my mom would be like, "Well, just know I'm not paying for that."
Right. No, it's fine. I mean, goodness, if he got in Duke, he's doing something right.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that because I went to the same school as my parents, and my mom was in one sorority, and I went the rival.
What did she say?
Yeah, she said, "Stacey, it was 30 years ago. You gotta do what you want to do."
Oh, that's
and
good.
where you
That's
fit in. So now we like bicker about whose sorority is the best.
Then she walked in the other room and was like,
Yeah. She'll send me like cards with squirrels on it because that's like her sorority's mascot to like kind of dig at me a little bit.
What was she in? Which one is
Alpha
that?
Gamma Delta.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering. It's funny, stick around tomorrow for my 2 cents. We talk about sororities and fraternities. It made me think of this. I found a bunch of t-shirts that were mine in high school and college that my wife did not want me to keep, and I had to hide them at work.
I saw those on your desk because I thought I saw an AKA sweatshirt in there, so I was not trying to look through your stuff. I was like, why does he have that? And then I was like, oh, that's something.
It's close.
Okay.
It's close. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back.
For the history buffs or documentary lovers, the Sundance Film Festival is now screening a film you might enjoy. WFMY News 2's Manning Frakes reviews Navalny, which follows the Russian political activist nearly poisoned to death.
Political junkies will immediately recognize the name Alexei Navalny, a Russian political activist and Vladimir Putin's staunchest critic. His notoriety was further cemented when in August of 2020, he was poisoned by a chemical nerve agent in a failed assassination attempt by Russia's Federal Secret Service. The documentary sits down with Navalny himself and chronicles from the time of poisoning to return to Russia. For those who are unaware of Navalny, this doc feels like a well-crafted political thriller. You're on edge, wondering what will transpire next. The directors do an excellent job in catching the viewers up to speed while simultaneously keeping you engaged. For those who do know of the man, it's an eye-opening deconstruction of a political system ruled by fear. Similar to some of the other docs that I've seen at Sundance, it's nothing revolutionary in terms of presentation, but it's the content and the candid conversations with Navalny that make this a documentary worth checking out. His dark humor and inspiring story prove to be a compelling subject. I'm recommending this as a News 2 approved. You can rent Navalny on Sundance's website from today until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Expect it to stream on HBO Max later this year.
So it's interesting with these type movies, most of us, and some of us will never see a lot of these because they're critically acclaimed unless they get all this publicity and then all of a sudden they make it into mainstream theaters. But it made me think about some movies that maybe weren't the box office smashes that I've seen in my life that I like. And I know this one, it has a following in sports groups, but Hoosiers was one of my all-time favorite movies because it dealt a true story, basketball story. And it was somewhat popular, but it wasn't like nationwide, but it became a cult classic. You know, like everybody that liked sports, especially guys that followed basketball, loved this movie, and it was one of my favorites. It didn't win any awards or anything that I remember.
I can't think of a movie that I liked that wasn't, it's hard for me to think of like in the category that you're talking about, but I watch a lot of like web series that a lot of people don't know about. And there was one that I used to follow called Close Friends, and they stopped making episodes, but it was a group of college students that actually put on these web series, but they were really well produced and had great juicy storylines.
Don't you hate it though? Because then you can't talk to a lot of people about it.
Yeah. And I try to get friends to watch it, and they're just like, yeah, I'm not really digging this. But I'm like, no, you got to keep watching.
Mine was Marie Antoinette with Kirsten Dunst.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that either.
I
like her,
absolutely love the movie.
I like her.
I love the production, the design elements, the wardrobe is fantastic. I mean, obviously follows the story of Marie Antoinette, but with a little modern twist to it. I love it. It's a good one.
We have to look that one up. See, you learn something new every day. We're going to take a break and learn something else.
Making history in the fashion world, check out Minnie Mouse's new outfit. It's a dark blue pantsuit with polka dots and stripes. Stella McCartney designed Minnie Mouse's first ever pantsuit. Many are used to seeing her in her red and white polka dot dress with a matching bow. The pantsuit design is part of Mickey and Minnie's 30th anniversary outfits. But don't worry, she's not the only one getting a new fit. The whole Disney squad debuted new looks as part of the 50th anniversary celebration.
Okay,
That's
Minnie.
awesome.
I love that suit. That's super cute.
I want to see all the rest of them.
Me
now.
too. I thought they were going to come up.
Yeah, I don't know where they are. I just saw the Minnie one on Twitter today, and I was like, we have to put this in the show. She looks so good. But
Oh,
can
wait,
you
are they gonna pop
believe
up here when-
she's never worn pants before until this?
I never knew that. That's crazy.
And I love that because girls wear pants.
Yeah.
You know, we don't just wear dresses and things like that. And I love a nice pantsuit.
I do too. And hers is definitely cute. And the one and only Stella McCartney designed it. So.
You said that, and I was like, I don't know who that is. That's when
A designer.
I did not. I was like, I did not know.
Yeah.
But apparently, she's the one and only. She looks good. Look at her. I
like
the
her little
bows.
pose.
Look at the always with
I
that
can
same
see them
pose.
coming out with a line of these for little girls to start
They
wearing.
should.
That's
Oh,
probably what's in the
absolutely.
works to come out next. So.
That's
You know,
funny.
I would buy it for Baylor. So great marketing.
It is good marketing. You think about it. I mean, let's be honest. Disney likes to. They market so well, and kids will. I mean, we grew up with Disney.
Yeah, I had Minnie Mouse and Tigger T-shirts and overalls and
everything.
all those kind of things growing up.
Yeah. me too.
Everything. All right, we'll take a break. We'll see you in a few.
U.S. troops are waiting in the wings before a possible deployment to Ukraine.
Hello, tune in to News 2 at 5.
Hey, 1 2 1 2. Check.
Hey, mic check. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8.
Mic check 1 2 3. Callie, what is my hit time? Mic check. Oh, and we have mix minus on. Thank you. Ah!
Wait, so that means, is there a head nod?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe you've seen the Facebook Lives I've been doing the past couple of weeks. Eric Chilton and I are collaborating on a project that really doesn't have anything to do with anything. Seriously, we just get together on a Facebook Live and talk about a couple topics on our mind. It's not controversial. We don't talk about the news or the pandemic or politics. We just talk about lighthearted things. It's really just a moment for us to laugh about ridiculous things and talk about Tupperware stacking or Wayne's World or the funny things his kids do. I want to call it Shenanigans with Chad and Chilton. He's got other ideas. We still haven't settled on a name yet. I guess the point is to lighten up your news feed a little bit. There is so much in the world that weighs us down. You certainly see a lot of it on your news feed. We're trying to help change that, even if it's just for 30 minutes, one day a week. I think we could all use a break from the hustle and bustle. That's just my 2 cents. And your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
The excitement is still flowing 24 hours after Boom Supersonic announced it's bringing a facility here to Greensboro, investing millions of dollars in creating